excites you about some of the rookies and free agents you've been able to add who are going to be on special teams for you this year? Any quality stand out?
Yeah, actually, a few do. The height and length of some of these guys is pretty incredible. It seems like these kids get bigger and bigger every year, especially the rookies. And then some of the veterans we brought in, through free agency, there's just a great professional energy about them that you can feel in the meeting room and then on the practice field, the couple of days we've been out there. So obviously everybody feels good about where they're at, probably every team during OTAs. But there is a tangible feel to some of the youth, whether it's the length or with the veterans, maybe some intangibles with some of the energy and some experience. It's been a really fun, couple of weeks and couple months also.
John, what made you guys want to move on from LP and bring in your guy from the Rams?
Yeah, that's a good question. All of them were free agents, so I just did a huge dive into all the available free agents. Obviously, I have a history with McQuaid, and I think he's, in so many ways, a hell of a snapper. And really, that's what it came down to was, take a look at all of them, and a guy that that I know and I've thrown a lot at. I just thought that he was, a hell of a snapper, and he was available, and so we got him.
And then what about punter Bryan Anger?
Yeah, Bryan became available. The Houston Texans let him go. And I remember when Bryan came out as a rookie in 2012, I kind of went on a workout circuit, working out a whole bunch of potential rookie, obviously, kickers and punters. I worked out Hecker, and then 2 days later, I flew down to Southern California, worked out Anger. And then a few days later, I flew to Wisconsin and worked out a punter. Then a few days after that, I worked out Zerline at Missouri Western. So I've known Bryan for now 10 years. Obviously never coached him, but just evaluating him over these years, I think he's one of the top punters in the league. And, he's been kind of caught up in some staff change in Jacksonville and then in Tampa and then in Houston. So by no means is that a reflection of his ability. And he was available. And I thought, let's go get one of the best guys, and the team was on board, and so we went and got him too. And I just think he's also a hell of a punter, and I think we were really fortunate to get him.
What's that competition between him and Niswander kind of look like to you heading into training camp?
That's a great one. First of all, Hunter's not here because he has a high-risk pregnancy, and so we respect his, he wanted to be real smart with the COVID. So Bryan's been the only punter that's been here. But going into camp, I think it'd be fair to say for sure that Bryan's the leader, and Hunter's continuing to develop as a punter. I thought Hunter did a really good job stepping in last year off the street. But I've talked to Hunter about his developmental process and some of the things that he continues to work on as a punter. But I think Bryan is a top flight guy, and I expect him to be that. And we'll see what happens. Hunter's also going to get a chance to do some kickoffs, to save Greg a little bit in some preseason games, and maybe even hit a few field goals just to expand his tape. But that's kind of where I see it. Probably not a great answer, but I see Bryan as really a top flight guy, and Hunter he'll battle, and he's got some things that he knows he's got to work on.
When you had a chance to go back and evaluate what you guys did on special teams as a whole last year, what would you say you liked the most, and where do you guys need to improve the most?
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm very prepared for that question because I've asked myself the same things. I think personally speaking, the first, 5 games of the season, I thought I did a poor job of some of the situational stuff and just some of the mechanics. And then I thought that we made a few changes, and I told the players, about week 6 that there's a few things we got to just stay the course, and there's a few things that I got to change course for us. So I thought the last 10 games of the season, we really started to make some strides and improvements. Probably a project I did this offseason that I hadn't done before is I went back and I watched the TV broadcast copy of every game starting in week 1. And I mute it because I don't want to hear the audio. I just want to get a feel for, and it was offense, defense, special teams. So I watched it from snap one with 15 on the clock in the first quarter to the last snap of the game. Because I think a part of my job that I'm trying to continue to get better at is being a special teams play caller based on momentum of the game. So I went back and I looked at the TV broadcast just because you get a really good feel of the flow of the game and down and distance, the score. You can really feel momentum. And I really wanted to evaluate myself, how I did really calling plays and being prepared for situations based on the flow and the momentum of the game. So that was a great project for me, just personally speaking, that I got a lot out of. What I think we can do better this year, I think we can do a better job covering some punts, to be honest with you, and I told the guys that. I thought we really improved, our kickoff return blocking, and Tony getting some confidence on kickoff return. Probably those are the two main things. The strength became some KOR blocking, and our biggest thing to improve is some punt coverage. And we're focusing on that. Sorry for the long-winded answer. Anything else?
John, yeah, can you talk about the camp that you're holding here on Sunday at the Star and the group you're going to be working with?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So we'll have, and the Cowboys have been so great. So right around 10:30, I partnered up in 2018 with a group called Prison Fellowship, and the group goes into prisons, and they preach really the gospel to the prisoners and provide them some hope and help them hopefully reacclimate when they get out of prison. The group we're going to be working with on Sunday falls under the Angel Tree umbrella in the Prison Fellowship deal, and these are the kids of incarcerated parents. So we're going to bring in about 100 to 125 Angel Tree kids that are kids where their parents are in prison, and we're going to put them through football camp. They're going to do some drills. We got about 7 stations set up. We're going to give each kid a pair of shoes, Cowboys shirt, and they'll spend about 4 hours here at the Star on our practice field with a whole bunch of volunteers, some former NFL alumni, some of our current players. And it's just an amazing thing. I did it with the Rams 2 years ago. We couldn't do it last year because of COVID. And it was just incredible to see these amazing kids that really don't have anything, including some parental supervision right now, and just offering them a glimpse of really what could be for them. And it's really cool. We also do something over Christmas time where we get a whole bunch of presents for these kids, and we'll have a little Christmas giveaway for these kids where they don't get anything for Christmas. So it's just a great opportunity to help some of these kids that are very underprivileged, if you will. So thanks for asking. It's an incredible organization, Prison Fellowship and the Angel Tree Football Camp.
John, why does that ministry? Why have you gravitated toward that? Is there a reason? Is it just something that's always kind of, echoed with you? Or
Yeah, I didn't grow up have the same childhood as these kids, and when I got introduced to it, it was about 2017. Then I became more involved in 2018. First of all, I just love youth football, boys and girls. My 9-year-old daughter played flag football for a couple of years. And just thinking of the childhood I had, which was pretty darn good, and the childhood that some of these kids that, is different, it's tough. It just almost makes me emotional thinking about, the opportunities for these kids is different than the opportunities a lot of us have, and to just try to help them and give them some hope and bring some of our, hopefully we'll have a couple of rookies out there and just let these kids see these professional football players that are actually real people that care about them. I don't know if it's a good answer, but it's just, seeing these kids when we get them into camp and just like, oh my gosh, they don't have $50 to give to a youth organization so they can play flag football. That was our deal in LA. There's about 25 kids that couldn't afford a $50 fee to play flag football in their city. So it's just trying to give them a chance to get on the grass, play some football, and hopefully help them out and get them in some sports and give them a pair of shoes. I mean, it's amazing that what some of these kids don't have. And to give them something is really it.
We know what C.J. Goodwin brings from a gunner spot, but when you look at the other spot across from him, How do you evaluate the competition there and the options there for that second gunner spot in punt coverage?
Yeah, that's a great one. So Cedric Wilson was our second gunner predominantly through the year. We got Reggie Robinson some reps. We got about 3 or 4 other guys besides CJ some reps at the gunner opposite. And that's a great competition because there's only 2 spots. And, it's fair to say CJ's got one of them locked down. So it's a critical position on our punt team. And we got Ced back and some young guys that I think have the mindset as well as the physical traits to do it. And we'll let them battle it out through 4 preseason games. And that'll be a great competition to keep our eye on. CJ probably won't get hardly any reps in the preseason because we want to see what some of these other younger guys can do.